The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
Happy February 29th. It is a leap day, and most people don't know that there isn't a leap day every 4 years. There's one little hitch to leap days, and that is if the leap year falls on a century mark, there is no leap day that year. That's actually it's about if to make the math work out, it's just it takes about 100 years to cycle through. Then you actually get to skip one leap year, so you get 8 years between it. And actually, in the year 2100, I will have no birthday. Yes, I am one of those few people born on February 29th, and very interesting. But thanks, everybody. I got apparently someone must have said something in one of the radio shows this morning because my mailbox had filled up with well wishes from people, and I appreciate all those nice thoughts out there. And it is my birthday. Kind of interesting that every once in a while you find on something. I don't know if my life would be any different if I was born one day earlier or later, but just kind of interesting out there. On my radar, GDP numbers came out this morning, and I was kind of doing a little bit of back-of-the-envelope math, which a lot of engineers like to do. Imagine how many things have actually been designed on the back of placemats, napkins, but I know there's a huge amount of things that engineers that work for me or I worked with, made out of just the back of napkins out there. But I'm looking at this, and if gas prices are really going to $5 across the country, what effect is that going to actually have on the GDP numbers? We came in just a little hotter than everybody thought, about 3% today. That doesn't actually take into account the recent change in gas prices, which for us around here in Clearwater have gone from about $3.25 to $3.75 at most stations. I know a lot of people in California are probably saying, cry me a river, it's $5 out here. But $3.75, just probably at the edge of hurting a lot of people, especially on the lower economic scales. But if you use $100 or 100 gallons of gas a month, probably not too far out if you've got a older vehicle or a truck or something like that. 50 cents, that's $50 a month. Kind of a overall tax on everything happening in America. Anyway, my back of the envelope would say if we put in the 50-cent average per gallon gas tax, if you want to think of it that way, on all stuff, what would that change the GDP to? And that would be about 2.7%. So actually we may be in just a little lower than what we were thinking about already. Today we had our wonderful friend out there, and his name is Sharman Bernanke. That's what I like to call him because he loves the incredible squeezably soft dollar. And old Sharman Bernanke dropped the old Baby Ruth in the punch bowl today on a few issues, and gold took a absolute flyer down about $77 today. I haven't looked at it in the last few minutes, but what do we have here? Oh yes, $77.10. What a move for a day in gold. But pretty much he came on, and with no talk of QE3 out there, I guess you could see just how much people were betting on it for further inflation in the system, and instantly took a header. We also have some fairly decent moves in crude, up about 37 cents after 2 days of being down fairly hard. I think it was down a little negative earlier in the day, up as much as 60 cents. Dollar index on Bernanke's nice speech, fairly close after the open, up 51 cents, $78.81 on the current contract. Apple up $8 again, 26, 543.62 on discussions that their new iPad 3 will be coming out. We've been talking about it coming out in the first week of March now for, 6 weeks? I'm kind of surprised to find that it's actually news, but I guess a lot of people don't listen to this show. But we've been talking about the parts manufacturers in Taiwan publishing a lot of their data. It's in magazines or online magazines, trade websites like Digitimes. You already see what those folks are buying, and it's when we talk about elephants getting in and out of the stock market, Apple is the elephant in the component part of the electronics industry. When they call up and are going to build 27 million or 25 million iPads, the amount of parts and batteries and displays, there's no way you can keep that a secret. We pretty much already know what everything's going to be in the iPad 3. And it's kind of strange to think that it's actually news. But very interesting. Windows 8 is coming out. We talked about it, I think I've talked about it a few times on our Tech Insider show with Tom O'Brien. I talked about it the day that I was able to actually talk about it after the non-disclosure when they actually released the first developer version of it. I've had that version for a while. They're now coming out with a consumer preview, which I do have and played with it. Very interesting. Most of the features that you would have liked to use in a tablet are included in the next Windows 8. Other things are a new version of Internet Explorer, seems to be much better, a semantic zoom feature, a app bar launcher, an app management tool, and charms. Charms are a new way of using programs together. Actually fairly interesting, and I think for the first time in about 10 years, Microsoft seems to be running on all cylinders. We've seen a nice move. I think, again, on the Tech Insider, we talked about the breakout of Microsoft with Tom when it went through $27. I'll have to probably go back and look at the chart, but pretty interesting. But just about everything looks like a great upgrade cycle coming for them. The product looks extremely good and stable, and we're probably looking at an October-November release date for Windows 8. You will have to have new hardware for it all, which makes for an excellent upgrade cycle from everybody from Intel to Micron to everybody using memory. And, of course, the displays will have to be touch-sensitive, and most people don't have touch-sensitive displays. The other company that could do well on this might be Gorilla Glass, and actually that's GLW. But I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. But it looks to me like for a lot of these displays that you're not going to be making portable, they'll be home 19, 22, 24-inch displays. That might be a good application for a less expensive product like something like Gorilla Glass. But looking very good, and although we've been talking about it for, I think, Windows 8 for about 3 months on the in the Tech Insider and on this show, everybody now just kind of coming to the party. IBM and quantum computing. Quantum computing is the next big deal in computer, the next really big thing. And everybody said it's 25, 20, 30 years off. A professor at a institution in Western Germany has done a nice paper on IBM's research and says it's just more than a milestone. And I'll quote here, "These metrics have now, for the first time, attained the levels necessary to begin scaling up quantum computation to greater complexity. Says, I think we will soon see whole quantum computing modules rather than just 2 or 3 qubit experiments. Why are these type of computers so important? The idea is being able to encrypt and decrypt things. We've looked at encryption standards at a fairly low level, partly because the NSA doesn't want you using anything that they can't tear apart and look at again. I imagine the first company or customer in line is going to be governments who want to break all kinds of cryptography, since ideally quantum computing will make very, very short time of anything that's ever been encrypted. Theoretically, it doesn't matter anymore how complex you get. In a digital level, you'll be able to de-encrypt it on a quantum level. Of course, what that brings up is then quantum encryption, and theoretically, quantum encryption cannot be busted, although some people have already shown some ways in which quantum encryption can be busted. But probably a lot of we talked about the first quantum computer actually being sold last year, about 3-4 months ago. Why there's some very interesting things it can do. True whole quantum computing modules haven't been built yet, and IBM looks to be maybe the next big company out here. I know they've been busting out that $200 level, but down the road, probably 3 to 5 years, it looks like they'll be selling quantum computer technology. And right now, it looks like they've got the best technology and head and shoulders above everybody else. Apple's been fighting a trademark for their iPad with a company called ProView from China. I thought at first that this was just another Chinese company actually trying to roll one over on the Americans. But it looks to me and a lot of other people from the paperwork now filed in the U.S. court system that Apple were naughty liars with their pants on fire. What they do, they formed a new company. With this new company, they decided to go out and try to buy the trademarks for the iPad in China so that no one would know that Apple was behind it. A lot of the questions that were actually written down actually said, are you going to be in the same industry as us? And they did a lot of song and dance and said, mostly no. There were a lot of other questions. Is this going to be sold to another company? Are you a shell for another company? IBM's shadow company all said, no. It comes to find out that Apple was basically just lying their rear end off. And I think this company actually now suing in the United States probably has an excellent case that Apple did by intentional misrepresentation defraud this company of their time. I think there's money there.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments. And whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you seek to maximize your returns. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, author of Mastering Probabilities, a daily investment and trading newsletter, and teacher of The Money Game. Studies show that 3 out of 5 people are afraid for their life in trading these markets, and the number one reason given is fear of loss. Look, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and the money game proves it. Lesson number 1, don't risk more than 1% of your trading capital on any trade. Why, you ask? Because 35 trades in a row where you risk 50 cents and make $1 are all you need to double your trading capital, versus the 230 losing trades in a row you would need to bring your balance to $100. Let me teach you more about the money game risk-free for 30 days. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, for your 30-day risk-free trial. You were born to be a money master, and I'll teach you how.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio. Therefore, we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the front of TFNN.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we get back, we're going to wrap up the news and then get into some stocks. But other thing out there is AT&T is trying to figure out more and more ways to extract money out of anybody they can. And doesn't look like they can do much more on the side of going after their actual customers. So they're now starting to give app makers the option of being charged for the data their users are gobbling up or playing with their app. And if not, they're going to start blocking them from actually working them on their network. If you're paying for unlimited data on any network, is it really unlimited if AT&T takes your choice away from using those particular products? We talked about AT&T may be a good stock just because of the amount of land they'll be able to turn into money one day, kind of like we saw Sears Holding last week when they finally were able to unload some of their holdings and get enough cash to continue on being a business. AT&T is really going to be selling these parcels of land that used to be their switching stations in very choice locations in a lot of the premium markets in the United States and elsewhere around the world. But as a company and a cell phone provider, boy, these guys just can't seem to get anything right. I don't know how you guys think about it, but to me, every time, are these guys just one step away from being RIM and exploding themselves Whether their land's worth $100 billion or not, I don't know. It's just tough for me to see anybody doing that kind of stuff. We're going to wrap up this segment with a little bit of catch-up. Light Squared was a company we've been bringing up on the Tech Insider Hour on Tom's show a few times. It was Philip Falcone's Harbinger, which they're a giant hedge fund. They've been pushing this thing called Light Squared, which was a internet, kind of a WiMAX internet. They were going to put these towers up. You would have been able to get high-speed internet within about 30 miles of any of these towers. They were going to directly go to a lot of the rural areas of America, be able to charge a premium price for a high-speed internet connection in, where actual cell phones are normally within 5 miles of a tower. Being able to cover 30 miles around a single tower would certainly get, a single tower could actually handle an entire city, maybe about 10,000 people. And a lot of those smaller 5,000, 10,000 person cities exist, or towns, and probably not a bad business model. They were actually up against another company, and LightSquare's CEO today has resigned. Basically, there was a report out about a week ago, and I can't remember the reporter, but he used to be, or a commentator, but he used to be on CNBC. He always wore a bow tie, brown hair, tall guy. I'll think of his name maybe. But he started a kind of a website newspaper thing. It's been doing fairly good. It's called the Daily Caller. I don't spend a lot of attention to it, but about a week ago, they apparently got a lot of documents sent their way, and they published them. And what it showed was that both Harbinger, Falcone, and the CEO, which I will not try to pronounce his name, Sanjeev, I don't know how to even think about pronouncing last name, Ahuja, Aju maybe. It looks incredibly now like they were trying to buy off the FCC, and some of the documents coming out now are really looking pretty bad, and looks like a second round of the Slendra kind of deal, where if we get you some money, we're going to make sure and pump some money back into a political campaign. Apparently, the reason that the CEO resigned today was the documents that have now come to light that showed that he dumped a huge amount of money, a few $100,000, within an hour of a meeting at the White House. And actually the head of, I guess it's like the head of human resources at the White House, actually owned 500,000 shares of this and was working in the background to make sure that the FCC pushed this through, even though the Light Squared technology interfered with GPS devices. Well, the whole thing's going to become a giant tar ball out there. But one thing you can pretty much say is that FCC is full of a lot of engineers, and they blew the whistle on this thing. You got to give them a pat on the back for that, to find out that one, GPS could be affected, and two, a lot of cash trading hands here to make sure that Falcone's deal worked.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you want to get great trade setups in equity as well as the option market, come over to TFNN.com and test drive my daily newsletter, Market Insights, for 2 weeks absolutely free. Each trade setup comes with a profit projection as well as stop placement. Included in Market Insights is a Twitter alert service. This allows you to take advantage of intraday setups. Volatility is back in the markets. What does that mean to you? To me, it spells short-term opportunity each and every day. The days of trending up on lighter volume are gone. We have come off the highs with volume across the globe. Don't get caught in a complacency trap. Many of the indices have given back 2 months of trading in 1 week. We have a trader's market. You can take advantage of this trader's market by test driving my daily newsletter, Market Insights, free for 2 weeks. Market Insights will give you the edge you're looking for in the markets. Go to TFNN.com, under newsletter, hit the Market Insight tab for your 2-week free test drive right here, right now.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes that a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Certified Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by Direction Shares. To learn more about tactical tools for the sophisticated active investor, hit the Direction Shares banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we come back, just wanted to remind you that if you purchase Tiger Dollars by March 11th, you'll be getting the free access to Tom's online master trader class for free. To go to the front page of TFNN.com and you can check out the deal. It does end March 11th, but just check out the front page of TFNN, get everything out there, but purchase Tiger Dollars. I'll have to check it out myself because I'm going to have to find out more details here, but I'm sure that everything is outlined on the front page. In fact, I'll check it during the next commercial out here and get back with you on that before the end of the show. We've been watching Apple. It continues to run. I thought we'd just go ahead and put up a small chart of Apple. One of the things I find very interesting is that we had that huge volume day in Apple on the 15th of February, 53 million shares, kind of a pullback it's come back and gone over that $526 high that had 3 million shares. Now that we've gone over it for 2 days and even gapped up today, it looks like we're going to be in the range of about 50% of those highs. This is where the danger really comes in. I haven't seen a lot of things that would make me very wary of Apple. Of course, I'm not thinking that they have a huge move, but now you might actually have one, even if it just went back down to the previous low of February 16th for 83.63 on February 16th and tested that previous low. That's a good 12% move in the chart, and that wouldn't be anything. That wouldn't even be a bearish move. It could just go down there, pop around, and actually consolidate in a $50, $60 price range with no big deal. What does kind of concern me is these last 2 days above this previous high with 53 million shares, and we are a little bit lighter out here. So always something to think about out there. But did give me a little pause when I saw that Apple was one of those companies that actually was kind of being somewhat problematic. Let's see what else we have here. AMC Networks, AMD. Okay. One of the other ones I've been watching here for coming into fairly decent resistance is AMD. We talked a little bit about Microsoft being a huge player this coming fall. AMD probably going to do fairly well. It's had some problems in actual manufacturing. I owned it for a little while and didn't like this move down to the bottom, thinking that we're probably going to still get the same thing. But if you are thinking that this thing is maybe not a bad stock to play in the semiconductors, we're probably going to get a nice little pullback. But I'm thinking this last high volume low might be where this thing is ready to pull back to. That would be on the 25th of January. The low at about, the low is about $6.23. So, you know, I'm already started watching where these stocks might pull back and where you might want to be thinking about getting back into them. You know, we're seeing a lot of weakness out in this market. Not surprising. But I'm starting to already pick a few of these out here that either is a great time to be short or a great time to start watching them. Another one that caught my eye also, although not quite finished, was Carnival Cruise Lines. Symbol on it is CCL. CCL looks to me like it's wanting to come back and test this October 4th low. We've had some huge volumes. Probably going to have a nice little doji star out here today, and that probably could be an abandoned baby tomorrow. But what I'm really interested in, these things, very cyclical company. Of course, they've had a huge amount of problems with their ships lately, but always probably a pretty good vacation value. But the next time we want to be watching this thing is testing the October 4th low. $28.52, 6.8 million shares. I'm suspecting that today's light volume doji was just a counter move, and it's going to move back down to that low. At that point, it will probably be out of the winter vacation season, but this thing probably will set up next fall, and we want to be always watching that $28 level. One of the ones that shocked the living daylights out of me, and I think a pretty good indication, I actually put it in the newsletter this morning before gold fell apart, was the Central Fund of Canada Limited. This thing was coming back up, trying to fill a monster gap that had monster volume on the way down. What really makes me nervous, and actually I don't listen to William Buffett about many things, but he always says when everybody's basically happy and euphoric, he wants to be very scared, and when everybody's scared, he wants to be greedy. And fearful when everybody's greedy, and greedy when everybody's fearful. And I saw that in the Central Fund of Canada today. Symbol is CEF. They're a big gold conglomerate, closed-end fund in Canada. But just watching it come up here to this top and come into these very light volume moves, pretty good indication where I think I'm seeing so many stocks, not just in gold, setting up at these gaps, and I've been talking about it probably for the last 10 days, of these stocks hitting these highs and rolling over, that I thought it was very interesting to see CEF up here get to this gap. That gap down happened on 3.7 million shares. As we got back into this gap yesterday, we had 1.2 million shares. You know, I do a daily newsletter for those people. We've got to get an ad for that daily newsletter on my show here. But every morning I put somewhere between 10 and 40 stocks that are showing either they've made a bottom or a top, most likely, that they're actually testing something like this on extremely light volume. And this was just one of them, but not unsurprising that we've seen very heavy volume down. Let me get just a little longer time frame here so we can see what I'm talking about. You had that huge move down with huge energy, and if you look at my power law vector indicator underneath the move on that, it's a 3.6 if you can't read it. On the way back up, which was almost probably within 90% of the actual dollar change from the bottom back up to the top, we came up with a 2.4. These are ratios, just like decibels, if anybody's ever used those. It makes it very easy to compare large numbers. But what I can read from that and think about instantly is that the Central Fund of Canada has gone up from that low and even a little bit more of that move on about about 2/3 the energy that it went down, and that huge slam down to September 26th. Actually did a nice little retest. On that retest, the volume did shrink, so you did get a natural bounce out of this, but it has gone back below that low, bounced back out of it, and you still have, you know, a pretty good trading range. But my guess is that you'd have a pretty good setup for that mid $20 to $20.60 gap that looks like it could easily get retested. There was no high volume, and there hasn't been any high volume until today on the Central Fund of Canada. Very interesting. Other ones, let's see, Cree. Was it Cree? Cree's another one. It's been kind of bouncing along these bottoms. I've not been a huge fan of this LED company, mostly because they've been beaten up fairly strongly. But another one that's giving a fairly decent indication that this thing is pretty much topped out. What I'm looking at in Cree is that November 4th high at $31. What is that? 34 cents. 9.3 million shares. We went above it and have closed below it. On February 17, $31.50 is the high with 5.4 million shares. So as we watch this, it's one of these things where pretty clear, 9 million shares, 5 million shares. Much like these, I expect that huge rollover. We're just down 6.5 on the S&P, but I certainly suspect that we've got at least somewhere in the 1302 range to get back to before we're ready for the next big move in the stock in the market up. I'm not a horrific bear, but the longer we hang up here with no volume, the more that this is setting up much like the April-May 2010 high. We haven't gotten quite the diversity in advancing and declining stocks, although it has over the last 14 days gone fairly large. I'll try to bring up a summation index during the break and show it to you. But pretty decent amount of divergence between the New York Stock Exchange and the direction of the index and the amount of stocks actually going higher and lower. Let's see. Let's see if we can get, here it is. The other one that I found very interesting today was the Germany Index Fund, EWG. This is another one that's been setting up and testing one of the high volume down day gaps. This one, that volume was about 14 million shares on, what was that, going to be August 4th, it looks like, 8-4. And or is that September? That's got to be September 4th. That volume came down on about 14 million shares. Huge volume day, set up a gap. We have tested that gap with 26 million shares on October 27th, got within a hair's breadth of it. We're now kind of bouncing around in those. The gap, or the volume for these last couple of days, about 6 million shares today. We had about 5 million shares yesterday as we touched it. Starting to look like a little bit of dark cloud cover. Would probably like to see that candle just a little bit bigger before the end of the day, but could continue on. Certainly not a index that's going to give you a huge movement or leverage movement out of Germany, but pretty good indication that you've got a stock here that is having some indication that Germany may have hit its top move out here. And I know that there is some speculation that I think it was Draghi came out and said there's not going to be any more QE money coming anytime soon. Kind of put a top in that. We talked about this stock on Monday, and that's Harley-Davidson. Symbol is HOG. As one of the ones testing a previous high on the most severe amount of lower volume. What we're talking about that, a good one to keep an eye on out here. It does look like we probably made some kind of high in Harley-Davidson, although I like watching American choppers and the dad and the son getting in fights all the time. July 19th, $46.88, 10 million shares. We've come back into that, gotten very close. The highest volume we've had out of these highs is 1.4 million shares. But just looking at these, what do we get? 3 million shares 5-6 days ago, but not into that high. We got that one day pretty much reversed. We've been slowly moving over, and just no volume in the last couple of days. Could we go and test that one more time? Yes. But what I really don't like is this kind of ski slope down of volume that you see over these last 5 days. Pretty good indication that this thing has used up almost all of its juice. I've got to find some way of zooming in on the charts here or making this number a little bit bigger. But if you watch the power law vector indicator here, I'll point at it at 6.5 to 4. So this is another one of those stocks that's gone up on approximately 2/3 of the volume. So what, 66%, something like that, 65% of the energy. For those new to my show, I have a thing called the power law vector indicator. Every night I use about 5,000 stocks and I scan them. This is a tool to go back and look at the energy, not just at the swing points, but in between the movement of the stock. And I publish these charts every day in my daily newsletter. But it gives a very quick indication of whether or not you've got any kind of energy. It's patterned after very much like the exact way you're charged for electricity. Anybody that's ever got anything knows that they pay for watts, and a 150-watt bulb uses more energy than a 50-watt bulb. They know that if they turn on their air conditioning on high in the summertime, that little thing out there on the side of the house is going to spin like a top, and also they're going to get a huge bill. If they turn on their radio, desktop radio, they can run that all day long, and it won't make that wheel spin at all, hardly, out there. So, you know, whether or not you're using a lot of energy or not much energy, pretty easy way to go back and tell on those particular stocks. But basically, it's the same way. If you were being charged for electricity is the way this looks at it. Did the stock go up? How much volume did it go up? How many pennies did it go up? Puts it into a nice round number that makes it easy to scan for these. But what, 33% less energy on the way up, 10% of the volume at the high. Pretty good indications that Harley-Davidson, we live to ride and ride to live, but I think they've ridden this as far as it goes.
In the world of financial markets, there's a new player in town with an exciting new way to trade the markets. Nadex now offers binary options as well as bull spreads in a wide range of indices along with commodity and forex markets. With as little as $100, you can gain access to a new way to trade global financial markets while guaranteeing that your risk will always be capped. Nadex allows you to multiply your trading opportunities in ways never imagined before and access markets you once thought were out of reach. With short-term trading opportunities available, including binary options expiring each hour the market is open, Nadex allows you to take advantage of a variety of market conditions regardless of volatility or market direction. Now is the time to take advantage of this exciting new market. Don't let this trading opportunity pass you by. Open your account today by clicking on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Nadex, a better way to trade.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650, but you get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
And very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, Did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the opening call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his opening call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his opening call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the opening call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. Catch Tom O'Brien, founder and CEO of TFNN, professional trader and educator. Also a special guest on CNBC, analyzing the commodity markets. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we get back, had a chance to check out the offer on Tiger TV. Very interesting. Purchase any amount of Tiger dollars between now and March 11th and receive admission to Tom O'Brien's all-day online master trader class, a $8.99 value, absolutely free. Plus, you'll have access to the archive of the class for 30 days. This actually is going to air online Thursday, March 29th from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. March 29th. So got a little bit of time to set up for this. I think that it is you have the 11th to participate in the Tiger Dollar thing. So that's pretty interesting. Anyway, wanted to get back to a couple of other stocks that were interesting that we'd seen. Let me find a few more. The iShares Index Fund was fairly interesting. We've been watching this as a top. Symbol is IVV. Gets a little bit better read from an ETF about the volumes. A lot of times without a lot of the chop that you see in the regular market. The May 2nd high at $137.64, 5.6 million shares. We did get into that, went to 138.63. And that was 3.7 million shares. We're starting to get that reversal here today. I know it's not one that's kind of blowing out the day here. Let me check back out. We are off about 6.5 points on the S&P, 53 on the Dow, and 20, a little less than 20 on the NASDAQ. But this is pretty much the day we had to see that the market actually did fail. We have several shorts in our newsletter, and actually a couple of them in the real estate market are doing extremely well. We have a couple that are flat and one that's not doing well at all. But that's pretty much, I take 1 out of 4 or 5 losers if the rest of them all end up being winning trades. But what we really see is that sometimes I'll look at this particular index fund to get a little clearer read. There is a lot of chop in the marketplace, shorts and longs. A lot of times the ETFs can give you a little bit clearer view of the market. There's also the other one I like is the unweighted S&P fund, and I take a look at that and show it on the show every once in a while. But the kind of a couple of different ways of looking at it, especially when you have something like Apple really skewing the charts so heavily these days in both the NASDAQ and the S&P. I think we have just a little bit more time. I do see Tom O'Brien in there warming up in the bullpen. He'll be coming on to talk up the rest of it. One more I wanted to look at is the iShares Russell 3000 Index Fund, IWV. Another one that gave a fairly decent indication that we were at a high. The volume was just a little bit different in these in the higher volume. You had basically 190 million shares. We're going to have more, but of course we're going to be closing lower today. But what I really saw was yesterday's and the day before's volume in the 140,000 share range. Finally, we get 200, well, probably 250 by the end of the day. But certainly we're looking at a high out here at a previous high and getting a fairly decent reversal signal in the market. Let's see. One more here before we go. We got about 30 seconds. MCP. We've been watching that after earnings here, and I continue to think that we're going to see this thing come back into that range of the previous low here, which is 23 bucks. We're going to be running out of time here, but hang on. Tom O'Brien will be on in just about 8 minutes, wrapping up the end of the day, and I'm sure talking a lot about gold. Gold off 93 bucks. Ooh, it's not so gold and shiny today, is it? We'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, actually, all on Friday.